Okay, so Leetcode practice question. In this video, there are two goals. The first goal is to see how to solve this problem, and then we are going to do some coding work. And the second goal is to see how we should behave in a real interview. So let's get started. In the real interview, remember, the first stuff is always try to understand the question. If there is anything unclear, please bring up the question to the interviewer. And at the same time, think about some edge cases. So let's take a look at the question. It's called minimum difficulty of a job schedule, and you want to schedule a list of the jobs in D days. Jobs are dependent, so to work on the ith job, you have to finish all the jobs J, where J is between 0 and I. So you have to finish at least one task every day. The difficulty of a job schedule is the sum of difficulty of each day of D days. So the difficulty of a day is the maximum difficulty of a job done in that day. Okay, so given an array of integers, job difficulty, and then integer D, the difficulty of I's job is job difficulty I. So return the minimum difficulty of a job schedule. If you cannot find a schedule for the jobs, return -1. Okay, let's see this example. It has 6 jobs and day has 2. So we are going to output 7 because the best option for us to do is to put the first 5 jobs in the first day to finish. And then the second day we just finish the last one. Okay, that makes sense. So let's see some constraints. So it says that the job difficulty tolerance is between 1-300. And the job difficulty is between 0 to 1000. So the day is between 1 to 10. Okay, so I think the first edge case I could think of is, what if there are more days than the job? So in that case, we are just going to return -1. Otherwise, I think it's just some general cases, and also we don't need to worry about the input array to be empty or the D to be illegal. So I think it's good for us to start to do some solution finding work. So the next part is about finding the solution. So after you figure out the question, it's time for you to think about the idea, communicate with your interviewer about the solution, and also do some runtime analysis, get an agreement with your interviewer before proceeding to do some coding. So let's see how to solve this problem. So this seems to be a DP problem, I would say. Yeah, so I would say it is a DP problem. Let's say if we have a DP array as D and this is job, it would be something like, it is a minimum of, so there are different options. Let's say we do for day 0 to D -1 days, we are going to take the job as, let's say we are going to take I jobs, and for the rest of them, it is max of the difficulty, job difficulty between job I +1 to the last job, which is, let's say there are n jobs, so it would be n -1, and the I would be between, so I would be within, so for this one I would say I is within D -1 to n. Okay, so for the DP formula is like this. So let's say DPD job means for D days we do those number of the jobs. So we can further compute this from the subproblems, which is for the D -1 days, we do the first I job, and then for the rest of the jobs, it is finished for the last day, and we iterate through all the options for I. So that's pretty much how we are going to solve this problem. So the runtime, suppose there are n jobs and d days. We have a 2D array which is nd for sure, and within this to compute dp d job, it is going to take about n for runtime. So it is going to be n squared d for the runtime about this algorithm. So next part is about coding. So for coding, we care about the correctness of the code, the readability of the code, and of course, don't be too slow. So first of all, we need to check some edge cases. So if d is larger than Java difficulty dot length, then we are going to let's say we have num jobs. Let's say num jobs is equal to job difficulty dot length. So if d is larger than the num job, then we need to return -1. And otherwise, we need to define the dp array, new int, let's say it is d, and this is num job. So we are going to initialize this a bit. So let's say for the 0, we are going to finish. So we need to finish initializing the first row of this dp array, which means for the first day, we have different options to take the different set of the jobs. So first of all, I would say dp 0, 0 is equal to Java difficulty 0, and for the rest of them, I smaller than num job and the ++ I. So the dp 0 I is equal to, this should start from 1, should be mass. This is dp, so this would be dp 0 I -1 and the Java difficulty I. Okay, so like when we encounter a more difficult job, then it is set to be the current dp 0i. Otherwise, it is the maximum difficulty from the previous jobs. So after we finish initializing the dp array for the first row, it is the time for us to compute the follow-up rows. So let's say int I is equal to 1, I is smaller than d ++ I. And then for that, int j means the job. So j is starting from, I would say we need to finish at least I jobs, because for sure at least one task per day, which is a limitation. So j is smaller than num jobs and the ++ j. So at this time, we will have to say dp, let's say dp ij is equal to integer dot max value, and we are going to get the last day difficulty. So let's say the last day difficulty is initialized as a last job. If it is initialized as a last job, it would be Java difficulty j. Yes. So we are going to dive into different options. Let's set k is equal to num let's say it is equal for starting from j, k is larger or equal to k is larger or equal to I minus the k. So so let me just make some more. Let's say this is a day. Make it a bit more readable for the variables. This is day. This is job. Starting from day, job. This is the job stuff. This is the last one. So we need to make sure that for different options as equal to the job, which is the last job, I is larger than the day or equal to the day. So it's like the first option is for us to just take one job for the last day, and the last option is for us to take for all the previous jobs, they are all going to take one job, and then for the last day it is going to take the rest of the jobs. So we are going to iterate through all of those options. So dp day job is equal to mass.min the dp day job, and the other thing is dp day -1 to take I -1 job plus the last day difficulty. So the last day difficulty is computed by mass., which is the max difficulty of the jobs within the day. It will be job difficulty I. Okay, so this is minus I here. Alright, so finally we are going to return the dp. This is the d -1, and this is num job -1. Alright, so after we are done with coding, it's time for us to do some testing. For testing, usually it goes through some simple example and explain how this piece of code is going to work, and at the same time fix the bugs within the code. So let's do some let's use some less difficult cases to explain this. So let's say we have 3 jobs, 6, 5, and 4, and we have DS2. Then initialized. So this one is initialized as 3x2 matrix at the very beginning, and we initialize. First of all, we will initialize the first row. So dp00 is set as 6, and then this 6 again, and this 6 again. So for the second row, day is starting from 1, job starting from 1. We will have this as max value at the very beginning, and the last day difficulty is set as 5. So we say that last day difficulty is 5, and we have dp11 set as so this one is set as this, which is this plus 5. So this one is 11, and this one, it is this plus the. Okay, so actually to compute this, we are starting from the end. So if it is I is equal to, okay, so it's 2 2, so 2 2 is 11 for sure. But for job 2 3, for job 1 2, we are going to say that the last day difficulty starting from the 4 here, So it is something like 4 plus 6. So it is, first of all, it is so if it is 4, yeah, so it is 10. And then the other try is, you try this one to include those two jobs into the last day, so it is not better than that option. Yes, yeah, so actually there are only 2 rows because d is equal to 2. So finally we are going to return 10 for this. So I think overall it looks fine, so let's give it a shot. So it is job is smaller than num job. Okay, num job. Alright, so it's accepted. Let's give it a submission. Alright, so it seems like everything works fine. So that's it for this coding question. If you have any question about the solution or about the puzzle, feel free to leave some comments below. If you like this video, please help subscribe to this channel. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.